Alright, so to get started here, we're fixing a manifold leak, rear main seal, and adding a shifter cable instead of the shifter linkage for the four-wheel drive. So for my manifold leak, I'm just going to remove the fender to give myself a little bit more room, so I can take the intake manifold off and the exhaust manifold. So remove the front fender of a TJ. There's 4 bolts here. There's only 2 left on my fender because reasons, and then there's some bolts up here on the front of the fender that hold it to the grill. So we're just going to remove those bolts. Oh yeah, and I forgot about those ones too. There's some bolts up in here along the frame rail, along the between the body and the fender. We're going to remove those as well. Yeah, I forgot about that one. I think there's only one in there though, so it shouldn't be too hard for me. I can go ahead, I'm going to pull this fender off, give myself some room to help remove the intake manifold. The wiring harness can stay up there, you just got to disconnect it from the fender. The evac can stay on, you just got to disconnect the purge line and the electrical connector so it can all come with it. I'm going to go ahead and get that started, and we'll get back to you when the fender's off. Head here, I've got the fender off. I'm sitting on a tire. Got the fender off, move the wiring harness out of the way, it disconnects in the middle. This is on a 97 Wrangler. Everything here is original, besides the frame. The frame has been swapped before, and I did a terrible job of prepping that and coating it so it wouldn't rust over. I did that about, it's been about almost 10 years. Holy crap, I've had this thing for 10 years. Alrighty, so I got the wiring harness off the intake manifold. Just be very careful with all of the connectors. You know, push in on them like down, and then push on the tab before you pull up. Just wiggle gently. Same with all these, and these things are all very brittle when they get old, so just be careful, take your time when you're pulling up on things. So I've got that up out of the way. I did also remove the power steering pump. There's just 3 bolts that hold that in place. And it just slides in that bracket there, and it unbolts. These 3 bolts here. So I just unbolted that, left the power steering lines on, set it over there so I can pull my intake manifold off. The intake manifold does share the same bolts as the exhaust manifold, so you can see they're like a pinch style. It pinches the exhaust manifold and the intake manifold, so I've got to remove all of the top ones and then the bottom ones. You can leave the exhaust manifold studs on the end in, and you can get the intake manifold off. It is a bit of a pain, especially since I put a header on this, so there's a couple bolts that are more in the way. While I'm up here, I think I'm probably also going to try to fix this oil leak. I do have an intake manifold gasket here on the wall. That should do better than the original one. This motor, as far as I know, is 100% original. I did not do anything to it when I did the frame off. I just took it out and put it back in, and she leaks pretty bad. So we're going to go ahead, continue taking the intake manifold off, and then I'm going to disconnect the exhaust down there at this pipe, and remove the header. With that pipe off, the exhaust will dangle, and I can move the oil pan. To do the rear main, you do not need to remove any of this stuff. I'm just tackling more than one problem at once. And with the header out of the way, I'm thinking maybe I can get to more oil pan bolts and stuff a little easier. I don't know. I'm just doing a lot of things at once, but to do just the rear main, you do not need to remove the intake manifold or the fender or any of that. You can just go ahead and disconnect the exhaust down here, and then you can let your exhaust hang, and you'll have enough room to get the oil pan out. Again, do not need to remove this, do a rear main. I'm just doing this because I have a manifold leak. It ticks, it sounds terrible, and it's got a really nice exhaust on it, and I want to listen to that and not the manifold tick. So get back to you after I get this off, and then we'll talk about some other things, and we'll start getting down towards the rear main. Manifold and the exhaust manifold off. And I did find my manifold leak. Looks like it's cracked, and I'm one of those kind of people that doesn't put new stuff on very often, so we're going to weld that up today before we put it back on the motor. And you can see we do have quite the oil leak going on up here too, so I'm probably going to reseal this today. But it did just have one of these old paper gaskets on there. I'm going to break it in case I decide to use this again, because it wasn't leaking from the gasket. So I do have some over there on the wall, but we got that disconnected down there, so it's free swinging. Let me see if I got free hand here. So this is free moving now, so I have more room to get the oil pan off. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get started with that, removing the oil pan, and yeah, we're getting through it. If you're wondering how many exhaust and intake manifold bolts there are, in case you're wondering if you're missing one, we're going to count. We got one stud on the exhaust, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's a weird number. Yep, there's 11. I counted again. So if you're taking it off and it's stock, if you do not have 11 bolts, and your intake manifold won't come off, you're probably missing one of these two. Those are the hard ones to get to. Or that one in the back. So yeah, count 11, you'll be able to pull it off with the exhaust manifold. If you're counting only 9, just make sure it's only the 2 studs here and here at the very ends that aren't off, and you should be able to pull your intake manifold off, and your exhaust manifold will stay in place. So yeah, let's go ahead, get under the Jeep, drain the oil, and start pulling the oil pan to do the rear main. Now, under the Jeep, and you see I've got the oil pan off. I didn't have to take the exhaust out, I just have to undo all the hangers and slide it forward to get the oil pan to drop. But, so we're going to have to pull this rear cap off. This is the one closest to the transmission. To pull that cap off, I'm going to have to take this girdle out. I mean, I guess correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't think that the 97s had those in them. I thought that was a later thing, but I guess it's either not the original motor or it just happened to come in here, which is cool because it adds stiffness to the lower end. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull that girdle out. I'm going to pull the cap off, and I'll show you what's going on with the rear main and how we tackle that, because that's the tricky part. That honestly I've never seen a video of anyone actually like showing how to do it. They're just like, oh yeah, drive it up through and pull it out. So I'm gonna try to capture that for you guys as best as I can, actually getting the rear main started and what tools I use specifically for it. This is my first time doing a rear main on a first time doing a rear main in the block. I've done them out of the block, but I mean out of the vehicle, so this is my first time in the vehicle. So I'm gonna let you know how that goes, and again I'm going to try to capture that for you. So let's go ahead and get this girdle off, and then pull that rear cap off, and then I'll show you guys how the rear main, it is a 2-piece rear main, so it's fun. Let's go. Get the girdle out, and we have the rear cap off. So the most important thing here is I'm going to use a brass punch. And what I'm going to try to do here, you see that? Oh, let's see if we can get some more light up there for you. Okay, so you see that little bit of orange right here? So that is the rear main. We're going to use our brass punch. Just tap it and get it started over on the other side. So it's going to roll up around. Hope I'm talking loud enough. So again, brass punch, very important so you don't damage the crank. It's a softer metal. And you're going to get it onto the rear main, that little orange bit there. And you're just going to give it a couple little taps, and hopefully it'll start to roll over onto the other side, at which point you can grab it with a pair of pliers or something and pull it around. And then when you install the new one, you're going to roll it up in. So, brass punch, so you don't damage anything. Go to your parts store, get yourself a brass punch. Can't stress that enough. And we're going to go ahead, I'm going to try to see if I can get the camera set up for you guys so you can sort of watch it. This occur. You can sort of see up in there, up at the top of the screen. So, brass punch. Again, let me shake you. Okay, so brass punch, very important. And I'm gonna go over to the other side. So I can just use my just that way. This will be a balancing act. Where can my arm go? Really she did stuff. Sorry to block your view. More than likely gonna end up on my face. Okay. I want you to know I'm doing this as it was described to me by a friend years ago. They said, oh, good breath punch. That's the key. Okay, in case anybody's wondering, my brass punch is just slightly too big, so I have switched tactics here to a smaller punch that is not brass, so we are going to be extremely careful in doing this. This does take a while. Oh, never mind. So if you can see that, how that started to come down now. So this worked really well. I'm just going to go as far as I can. Again, I would prefer you use a brass punch. This is a very narrow snap-on punch, Blue Point. Nope, it is snap-on. It is a 1/8 punch. It looks like it has on there. So there's a part number on it. I don't have a part number, but you saw I was hammering on it for a little while with the brass one, real gently, and you know, it only fit over where like the seal was kind of larger. So I used this one and just a couple taps right there and it rolled right there. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get that the rest of the way out. Might grab a pair of pliers to help pull that down. I really hope you guys could see that because that was fabulous and how easily that was done. But as you can see, oops, sorry. Man, lighting is terrible. I'm gonna have to come up with something. See how it started to roll out there now? And I was punching on, man, sorry, I'm blocking all your light. I was punching up right there, just very gently, and I was able to get that to start to roll. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna finish pulling that out. You're just gonna pull it all the way around, and then I'll show you guys the install. This is the old one, it just came out. And it was facing that way, so to the right, this side was facing towards the transmission. So you can see there's a little bit of a kind of a groove there. So we're going to make sure the new one gets installed in that same way. This one doesn't, yeah, so you see that groove? That's going to go towards the engine, and this side will go towards the transmission. I got these parts off of Quadratec. I just ordered a lower end kit, and it came with a rear main. So hopefully it's a decent gasket. It looks pretty much the same. Which, oh yeah, it looks the same, so it'll probably leak too. Let's go ahead. I'll go under, and I'll try to show you guys me rolling this up in there. I'm going to roll it the exact same way that I rolled the old one out, and then we're going to go ahead, we're going to put this into our main cap, and we're going to dab some silicone on and reinstall that and torque the bolts to the specification. I'll look that up. I'll let you guys know what that is. Okay. Can you see the cap up there? No. Let's try to make that. I wish I could. Oh man, I'm sorry guys. Okay. Got our new seal in the direction we want it. Remember, this ring here is going to face towards the front of the motor. I'm trying to find somewhere you guys can sit and watch, but man, it's a struggle. Hopefully you can see. So I'll try go ahead and just roll this up in there the same way we rolled it out, very gently. Keep everything clean here. Okay. If you guys noticed, but I did that all by hand. And not using any tools. I was able to just roll it up by hand. So you should be able to too. If you can't, you may have something going on. I'm going to go ahead and use probably just a little piece of wood because my thumb's collapsing too much, just to push that up a little bit more. Or something rubber or soft. Do not use metal because you risk damaging the seal, obviously. So I got that mostly up by hand. Go ahead, I'm going to use the wide end of my brass punch just to give me that little extra push to the end. Maybe. I'm not going to tap on it, I don't want to hurt nothing. Oh, man. It went so far, so good. We'll do just that little last touch. Sure you guys enjoyed that. really want to push on it. Damage the seal. Oop. I got it here too far. That's what we did. Here too far. There. Okay. Here, as flush as we're gonna get on both sides. It's a little bit past on both sides. I'll go ahead and clean that surface up a little bit. And I'm probably gonna have to go to the parts store and get some brake clean for a lot of this stuff. But I'll wipe down what I can. We're gonna go show you the rear, the main cap real quick. And you can see there's just a rear main just like that. Just like this. It's going to face the same direction. You can see the ears lock in here and there. So removing this, pretty easy. Just go ahead and pull it out. I'm even going to try to do this one-handed. Maybe more difficult than I say. I really need to invest in some camera mounts and stuff, I suppose. Give me 2 seconds. I just set the camera down and I could hold it with 2 hands. That's a good idea. Just... Oh, that one's in there. I just want to pull it out. Okay, let's go ahead. Grab our punch here again. Give ourselves some leverage. And grab a pair of pliers. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Okay. Let's get this. Make sure you're in frame. Get this little end here. There's zip tie. That's not involved in this. There it is. Get this little end here. Pull up by hand. Grab a hold of it with a pair of pliers. And just give her a yank. Ugh. Maybe not. That sucker's in there. I've never... I'll be honest, I have not experienced this with one of these seals. This is the first. Oh, there we go. Okay, I managed to get a hold of it. And I think we're not reusing it because I bent that rod. Okay, there it is. It's out. Oh man, look at that. Sweet. So go ahead and clean this up with a rag real quick. It's important not to remove your main bearing, and honestly I would try not to scuff it with anything. And when you reinstall this, you want to make sure there's oil on that. You don't want that to be dry. Whether it be fresh oil or just some of the oil that's in it, just make sure there's oil on it. Now, I'm sure you guys love doing crooked and stuff. I'm going to take our new one. Remember the ears go forward. And we're just going to set her down in there and push with our fingers. Always use your hands. Push on the edges here and here. Getting it down in as flush as you can get it. Make sure your ears are fairly lined up. And sit down on the table and give it a good push. Just like that. Now if it's not sitting, if you're like, oh no, it's not sitting perfectly flush, you don't want it to, because if it's sat perfectly flush, if you think about it, it would not seal. So they got it all pushed together and, you know, cause things to kind of bind and, you know. But you do want to get it down as far as you can. But the torque of the main cap will be the overall sealing property of this. So go ahead, get it in there. It's nice and installed. Remember, fresh coat of oil. We're going to dab some silicone on the corners here to help it seal against the block, because these honestly don't do the best job in the world. Honestly, that's probably half of it, is the oil pan gasket does come up through this and it pushes against the ends of that seal there. So no silicone helps out everything. Don't put any silicone in the groove. That's not going to do you any good. In fact, that'll probably make it leak worse. Leave it as close to the OE manufacturer type thing as you can. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to crawl under the Jeep. I'm just going to clean some stuff up. Nothing you need to watch. And then I'll show you the reinstallation of the bearing cap. Up in there, and I just have the bolts hand snugged. I'll go ahead and use a click style torque wrench. I'm going to torque these to 80 foot-pounds as best as I can. You know, this might be a really good spot for it. I don't know, maybe you can actually see something there. Sit down the diff. If you can't see anything, sorry. If you can, cool. I'll change it to 980. So like I said, I'm going to torque those to 80 foot-pounds. So 3/8 torque wrench, so this might take a bit for me to actually get it to that. Oh, yep, there's 80 on one. There's 80 on the second. Okay. That's now torqued in place. And you can see where my little bit of silicone came up through there. I'm going to go ahead, finish cleaning up my surface from all my oil pan goes, and I'm going to go ahead and try to get the oil pan gasket to stick up there with some dabs of silicone and stuff, and then go ahead and put the oil pan back on. Yay! And hopefully this doesn't leak anymore. If it does, well, whatever. We'll just LS swap it. Be done with it. We'll see. Alrighty, let's I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna clean some stuff up, and we'll get back to you. Get this welded up so that crack's no longer there. Set your guns over here to the side. Wipe your lens off, getting kind of oily. So this goes, this is stainless steel. I'm just using a regular old MIG welder. Oh, you need to use a spool or just a TIG welder. Yes. You should do that. You're right. But don't have that. I got a MIG welder, and like I said, hopefully put nails in these things someday, so hopefully it'll do this for very long. It's kind of heavy. Okay, I'm just going to try to buzz along that crack there and see what that is all we're trying to do. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. Just trying to make things nice. So it's quiet. I want everybody to know I'm not a professional welder. I like to weld. And I think they come out okay, to be completely honest. I use a Miller-Matic 211 MIG welder. I've built roll cages, exhaust, frame patches, and all kinds of stuff with this. I do really like the auto features, so nice when you don't really care a whole lot about your weld. You can just kind of set it and get something in there that's going to hold and work really well. So let's go ahead and see how this comes out. A little on the one side. Yeah. Like I was telling you, I'm no professional welder, but you know, she stitched up and made no more holes, so cool. And there was a little, I could see a little tiny bit of light through here. this joint is, so I just reached my welder in there and just put a little buzz on it. So we'll see how that holds up. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get that put back on the motor. I'll clean the oil off it, and then we'll go ahead and put the intake manifold on, stuff like that. Yeah. I did replace the valve cover gasket in here. I happen to have one laying on the wall that was in better shape than the one that was in it, so we'll see how that holds up. Alrighty, so update. We did finish doing the rear main seal. This is now several months later, and we got that new shifter linkage installed for the four-wheel drive. The rear main seal went pretty decent. We do still have a little bit of dampness down here. It does just still drip a little bit, so I didn't do a perfect job at that. Up here, the shifter cable is holding in real nicely. This is an advanced adapters shifter cable for the NP231. This bracket fit nicely. That all went in nicely. It does come with 2 nuts on each end of the cable. I did run into an issue where I assumed that those would be okay. So you do have to actually remove one of the nuts so that the cable ends up being long enough to work and get full adjustment of the linkage. Cable just kind of runs up along and ties into the bracket. Had to assemble the bracket myself. The instructions did not come with any instructions, and the online instructions were not available. And apparently it was Christmas when I was installing this in April. So anyways, but I got it in there. It's holding up really nice. That works really well. Rear main doesn't leave a puddle in my driveway, just a few drips now. Oil pressure's good. Exhaust manifold's holding in there. Overall, it's doing great. Been daily driving it ever since I got that all done. So we got another like 5,000 miles on it. It's about due for another oil change. Again, it is just leaking. I can't tell, though maybe it's just the pan, because a couple of those bolts, you can see the pan is pretty wet along some areas, and it did have some like rusty pinholes in near some of the bolt holes. So it could just be my pan. Maybe the remains perfectly fine. I don't know. But hopefully this it drips slow enough for me now that at least I'm not adding a quart of oil every 2 weeks. It actually hasn't dropped in level hardly at all. It's still between the 2 dots now after 5,000 miles. I do need to change the oil in it. I usually like to do it every 3. But so yeah, the Wrangler is holding up very nicely. The Beetle doesn't run again. It's no surprise there. I'd like to get some new tires on this thing eventually, but overall it's doing really good. Like I said, been daily driving it for how long have I been daily driving it now? April, March, May, June, July, 3 months, 3-4 months. It's holding in. So next time we're working on it, I'll let you guys know. And I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do next. I would like to do a long arm kit. The uppers are wore out and they're shorty, so I'd like to do like a 3-link in the front, 4-link in the rear, stretch it and stuff like that, but that may not happen for a while. So stay tuned. Keep you guys updated on projects. The next one should be the 09 Sierra, which I sent the ECU out, so that'll be getting tuned, and we'll just be throwing stuff back together and getting that running. So take it easy, guys.